loves trains. Sometimes, though, Jim thinks his trains are just too small. That changed when he won the lottery.
Yippee for Jim. And his luck is the reason that most Americans buy lottery tickets. Most of you. And you are suckers. The betting odds are terrible. And the hypocrisy behind lotteries is terrible. The same politicians who ban internet poker or sports bets and bookies because they're evil and dangerous turn around and run their own gambling operation. Apparently, lotteries are okay because governments get some of the money. But don't politicians see what hypocrites they are? No. Ben Domenech sees the hypocrisy. He wrote about it in The Federalist, a conservative web magazine. What's the hypocrisy?
Well, I think, John, the hypocrisy is pretty obvious here. Whether it's playing poker in your home, whether it's going and betting on sports, whether it's betting on March Madness with your office pool, the government cracks down in all these different ways. You're actually doing something
They rarely
illegal.
crack down on March Madness.
Yes, to their defense, they don't actually come in and call you an illegal bookmaking operation if you're doing that sort of thing.
Anyway.
Not yet, at least. But then within the space of lotteries, the government profits from all of these horrible deals where desperate and poor people go out and buy lottery
and why do you say horrible deal?
Well, it's a horrible deal because you're playing games with odds that are incredible. You're playing games where you have a 1 in 175 million chance of winning. You'd have to...
But you win so much!
That's the way that the government sells you on this. But the point is, it's a really bad deal. If there was a casino where you had a 1 in 175 million chance of winning, you wouldn't typically go to that casino. You wouldn't play that game. You have a 1 out of 21 chance of getting 21, getting blackjack. Okay, that's not that great of a deal. Lots of people lose money at blackjack, but they don't think of it as a ripoff. This is a ripoff, and that's the way that the government really behaves in so many areas.
It's also a tax on poor people.
Effectively, it functions as a regressive tax on the poor. It's a way to go into poor people's pockets and take their hard-earned cash out. A lot of these people are people who don't pay income taxes because they don't make enough money to do so.
Most lottery tickets are bought by poor people, not rich people.
Exactly. And that's the reason why you see in all of these different communities people essentially taking a desperate path to try to make it big to make up for their current economic plight. That's one of the reasons why lotteries have been doing great, even in a time of economic downturn, because that's incentivizing people to play more.
But we are told that if you play the lottery, our children are the big winners.
Every time you play a New York lottery game, a portion of your sale goes to aid New York State school children, just like them. New York Lottery. Everybody wins.
So even if they're ripping off the poor, it goes to the school children.
Everybody doesn't win, John. It's one of these scenarios where money for education can mean all sorts of things. It can mean buying light bulbs for the administrators' offices and things of that nature. But in the real sense, this money is fungible. It can go to just about anything. And the way that states really behave is that they use that lottery money to offset certain expenditures in other areas. One of the things that we've seen over the course of the past several years as these lotteries have maintained their health in this time of economic downturn is states trumpeting lotteries even more to try to get people to spend more money on them so that they can have more money go into their coffers and spread it around to all of their various cronies and special interests. This is a terrible deal for the taxpayer.
And even if the politicians kept their promise and the money went to education, it's only a small part of the dollar you spend, right?
Exactly.
Like half goes to the winner, 40 cents goes to this Italian conglomerate in one state that operates lotteries. Maybe 11 cents to the government.
It's one of these scenarios where they don't even have to do this. For some states, they don't actually make that much money off the lottery. Some states make more, usually the poorer states like West Virginia, they make more money off the lottery. But for all sorts of states, they don't even have to do this. They could find the money simply by cutting other programs or needless, wasteful spending in other areas.
What galls me most about this is that some states run lottery ads that sneer at real jobs, at hard work. This lottery ad celebrates a woman who wins and then tells her boss,
I quit.
You what? Right on, Janet.
Back to work.
Working.
Yeah, that kind of rich.
So work is for losers.
Work is for losers, John.
government
This is just like Obamacare freeing you from job lock. You can follow your dreams because the government's going to come in and give you a bunch of money to do so. The ridiculous thing about this is that it's a good example of why the lottery is such a bad idea. They're incentivizing you to make bad decisions, to break away from hard work, to take away all of the different things that you gain out of the happiness of a job well done, out of that success. Lottery winners, we actually find when you look at the social science research, don't feel as happy quickly after they won.
That's interesting. Even the few who win are disappointed eventually. 3 months later, they're no happier than they were before?
And a lot of them end up blowing through the money all too quickly and having to go back to work. It's a good example of a policy where the government shouldn't prevent you from making bad decisions, but it shouldn't incentivize you to make bad decisions and then profit from your bad decisions. And that's exactly what you see with all of these lotteries.
Incentivize is too soft. They invite you to. They take your money to run ads begging you to. Such hypocrisy.